This is Bear. I'm Lola, and this is my van. This video, I'm going to tell you how much it cost. When I decided I wanted to convert a van, the first thing I did was find out if I could actually afford it. So I Googled, found a guy who had a website that broke his cost down into 3 categories: electric, plumbing, and shell. So I watched his video, and his prices were way out of my price range, but he also had more stuff in his than I was going to have. And I just learned the things I couldn't do. But I had must-haves. I needed to have a full kitchen, a full electrical system, and a shower. So, and my budget was $10,000. When I bought it, the wood was less than it is now. But when I bought the electric, it was more than it is now. I also bought a bunch of things I didn't even use. I used 1/4 inch shiplap for the walls. There's a lot of trim, like my cabinets were made with poplar and pine boards that are like 1/2 inch by 3 inch, 1/2 inch by 4 inch, 36 inches long. I used a lot of 3/4 inch plywood, like for the floor, and 1/2 inch plywood as well for like building the furniture. I mostly use, there's a lot of trim. Like you can see some trim there. I made the drawers with 1/2 inch by 3 inch poplar boards that I routed and made like those, the faces of the drawers. The floor isn't included because the floor was left over from my bedroom. So anyway, that is the basis of most of the wood, and lots of trim on the ceiling. Hiding mistakes. Trim is a gift from God. I totally freaked out when I got the van. I mean, it was March, it was cold. I just started on what I knew. So I started with the insulation because it was March and that was easy to do. And then I did the floor. I decided I'd start at the back and work my way this way because the most difficult fit was the shower. And the reason for that is the seats bend back. It leans back, and I think this is like 5 inches extended. I should have given it 1 more inch and then taken 1 inch off of the bed because that's the thing, I didn't need as much space. The next is the bed, and that cost $580. It's 5 inch foam. I got 2 24 by 6 foot lengths and cut it easy to cut with just like a bread knife. It almost saws. The thing that made it expensive was I got a sunroof for the top. I skipped windows and decided that my place to get air through ventilation partially was the Max fan, which I almost never use. So that was the bed. Next we have bathroom, and this is the stuff that isn't plumbing. I got a shower head that is totally cool. It's High Sierra, high efficiency spray, and I got the one that isn't the handheld because the handheld was more expensive and I was really trying to keep it low cost. I have the barn door, so it was the barn door. I think the walls to the shower are in there. Yeah, the walls to the shower pan, the toilet. I had a cheap Theraford porta potty, like it was $89 or something. But I just bought a new toilet because the Theraford finally broke. It's called Trilino, and it calls itself a composting toilet. It's pretty simple. It's really just like the kind that people that make homemade ones have. When you open the lid, there's a place where you pee in it and the poop goes to the back, and that goes into a box that's basically a plastic bag. After you go, you pour like something on top of it, sawdust, cat litter, whatever. There's all kinds of things. And then the front just goes into a bottle. And then it's got a nice little handle, and you just take it and dump it. So it's pretty easy. I haven't used it yet. It's brand new, but I really like it. So that's the bathroom. That was $395 total, except now it would be like $500 because the fancier toilet. Kitchen, dressers, bins, and it involves everything. Hardware, cook stuff, faucets, tile, tabletop, hinges, refrigerator, everything. Okay, refrigerator. Somebody's leaving. He saw. Refrigerator. I wanted a front open one because I really wanted to look more like a house than a van at the time. If I were to do it again, I would just let this all be storage. I'd get a really good quality, large bin and put it between the kitchen seats. Because I ended up by, like, if I'm going to take a trip for a month or 3 weeks or even 2 weeks, maybe even 1 week, this doesn't hold enough stuff. So I got the second one, and it's a low quality one, and it uses a lot of energy. On trips, it's a little bit okay because it fills fast when you're driving on the AC DC thing off the alternator, but it doesn't fill fast off the solar if there's trees, if there's fog, if there's clouds. And in the campgrounds on the East Coast, there's a lot of trees. So that would be my change. Okay, the shell is paint and stain, sealants, self-tapping screws, other screws, window covers, insulation, sound deadener, and my sealing. The paint for the walls, I used cheap Home Depot paint, and I bought a sprayer and sprayed it. To use a sprayer, you have to water it down. If you water it down, you can't wipe it clean if it gets dirty. Oh, baby, you're shivering. It's cold. I'm gonna have to take them inside. What I used when I redid the paint, I bought really good quality paint. I put it on with a roller, but it's a foam roller, and foam rollers go on looking like they're sprayed. So I would totally do that again. The other part of the shell, I believe, is the ceiling. I used tin from American Tin Company. I got their unfinished. I sprayed it, and actually I think I would still spray it because it turned out really nice. The ceiling doesn't have as much opportunity to get dirty. I made Reflectix covers with cloth, and I mean, I can do a lot of sewing stuff, so that saved me a lot of money because I sewed all my cushion covers. A normal person might have to pay to get that done. People make a big deal about insulation, but the truth of the matter is it only makes your van maybe at most 10 degrees less cold or less hot, depending on what temperature it is. So if you're outside on a 100-degree day, your van's going to be hot unless you can open the doors and get a fan blowing air around. I use a Ryobi fan, like a work fan. It was green. I painted it white. It looks wonderful in the van in the summer, and it blows air with serious force. I also got these little fans online. They're cute. They're like little round fans, and they can be tall and just sit on the floor. And the reason I got them is because they're 12 volt. We'll get to the electric when I can talk about 12 volt, but I'm like a freak always looking for 12 volt. I used self-tapping screws. I started out, I didn't have an impact drill. I had a drill. And I had a jigsaw. So I couldn't get the screws in the wall, and it was killing me. I was like putting my whole weight into it. But then I got the impact drill, went like a breeze, and it wasn't that expensive. And it's battery operated, so it was so much easier. So, I mean, I like all the tools I got, and they were worth getting. The only one I got that wasn't worth getting, the biscuit thing was a waste of money because it was like $70, and I used it once. I'll probably never use it again. I don't remember what else. Next is plumbing. I have a 21-gallon water tank. I have a 5-gallon water tank under the van. I have a ball valve, an electric ball valve with the switch right under this cabinet. You can get two kinds of electric ball valves. One is 2-wire, one is 3-wire. I think that's how it goes. I have the 3-wire, and the difference is you have to put it on a special electric switch, and it's more complicated to install, but somebody talked me through it on the telephone, so I kind of did okay with it. But you push it one direction, the toggle on one side, and it opens. You push the toggle on the other side, and it closes. If you get the 2-wire one, it has this thing where it automatically closes at a certain point. And I think the danger, even though it's easier to install, the danger is it automatically closing. If you force it, I think there's more room for you to like break it. So I'm happy with the 3-wire. And I leave it open all the time in the winter. And I leave it open all the time if I'm in my driveway. If I go to a campsite, I open it, and when I leave, I close it. I mean, other way. When I go to a campsite, I close it, and then I open it to empty it. And I mostly leave it open because it's my second ball valve. The first one stopped working. Apparently, they're water resistant, not waterproof. So I guess if they get wet, that's probably what happened. It got wet and it broke. Anyway, what else? Oh, I use PEX for the plumbing. They have the push to connect that most people get. I hate the push to connect. When you're figuring out like the measurement, I guess maybe some smarter people on this whole thing understand it, but like I never knew exactly how much goes inside, so I didn't know how to measure it completely. And then the fixtures are really bulky, so they take a whole lot of space. Whereas I think it's called ring clamp. It's a ring, and it's this little machine you buy that wasn't expensive, and it just clamps it, and it's small and it's easy. So I prefer the ring clamp. The key to your to putting in your plumbing is, the first thing is never put a fixture that could leak behind a wall. Make sure they're all accessible, because you have to look to make sure it doesn't leak when you install it. And things, when you're driving around, things might move around. It might end up leaking. If it's behind a wall, you're gonna have to take the fucking wall down to fix it. You also wanna use as few fittings as possible, which means as few right and left turns. I've seen people where they make it look like a jigsaw puzzle going all over like this. And what that means is you have that many more options for it to leak. Make it as clean a line from A to B as possible. I bought a pump, a regulator, all the pipes and stuff, all the fittings. My plumbing system cost $13.21. And now for the biggie, my electrical system. It cost $5,088. So half of the van is in the electrical system. I have 3 100 amp hour lithium smart batteries from Renogy. When it came to the cables, I used, for the wiring, I used marine wire. I followed Explorus Life because I knew nothing about electric, and like I kept reading from site to site to site, and it sounded like they were all talking their own language, and it wasn't like fitting together. It felt contradictory. Not that it was, but I had such limited knowledge, so I decided I would like find one place and just build my electrical system from everything they say. And I ended up finding Explorus Life. I bought a layout for $10. At the time they had one that included Renogy components. If you use the system that was on that layout, which I did use, it includes all the wire sizes, all the fuse sizes, and every single element you need to build that system. So I pretty much went out and shopped for all those pieces, and this is my electrical system. I found this place on eBay where you could order the wires, and they were kind of custom made. You'd pick your lug size, you'd pick your wire size. They had lots of choices. You'd pick if you wanted the red or the black. And then if you wanted a different size wire, like this example is 02, he's got a different page for every kind of wire, every size wire. So I ordered it all from there, and in the end, it was about the same price as it would have been for me to buy all the equipment to do it. So I ordered it from there. Oh, solar panels. Oh, baby. He's throwing up. Excuse me. I took Bear inside, and my feet are cold. Oh, the solar panels. I have 2 200-watt solar panels. Okay, so that was $5,888. Then the last $1,160 was a bunch of tools, circular saw, a new jigsaw, impact drill, biscuit thing, sawhorse table, router table. I mean, I probably spent $1,000 practically on tools. So that is it. I did go over budget. Oh yeah, my final cost, and this doesn't include stuff I've added since, because I've probably added a fair amount of stuff since. $12,945. So, but you figure at least 1,000 of it was tools. All right, that is it. I will write. My next video is going to be the stuff I learned from my travels. Okay, bye.